Joining us now on our Book Talk segment, great to welcome a woman who's written an interesting book. I think it's going to help a lot of folk out there. It's called Hiding in the Bathroom, an introvert's roadmap to getting out there when you'd rather stay home. We're joined today by Morra Aarons-Mele. She is the founder of an award-winning social impact agency, Women Online, also the Mission List, a great social change influencer database, an internet marketer, very talented woman, and she joined us by telephone today. And Morra, good to talk with you. How are you?
I'm great, Doug.
Yeah, I had a chance to read through the book, and I would have to say we have similar personalities in the sense that we probably both a bit of an introvert for most of our lives. So I felt at home reading your book.
I'm glad.
I like the way you talk about working at home. I'm trying to work that out myself. I can't do it every day that way, but that's the goal for me as well. So I think a lot of people are thinking that way, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think you nailed it, right? It doesn't have to be every day to make a difference. You know, I think that a lot of us, even one morning would be fantastic. Another thing that a lot of people put on their wish list is a meeting-free day or afternoon, right? I mean,
sure.
A day where you could actually sit and do your work without constantly being in meetings. And this isn't just an issue for introverts, obviously. I think many of us feel extremely overwhelmed, overstimulated, overextended at work, and with just like a little bit more quiet time.
And I think that you have to make a difference too between being introverted and being shy. I think there's a difference there. I find I'm not a shy person, but you're more comfortable kind of being by yourself at times. So would you say you're that way?
100%. I'm so glad you said that. There are so many misconceptions out there about what an introvert is. You know, first of all, there's no blood test, right, that you can take that says I am an introvert. Many of us are blends. I'm not shy either. I'm super chatty and talkative, and no one would ever call me quiet either. But I'm an extreme introvert. I like to be alone most of the day. I'm really happy in my own company. I get overstimulated easily. Something that people don't think about is the sensory impact. You're probably an introvert if you walk into a hotel lobby, for example, and the music is blaring and the lights are too bright and there's people everywhere, and then your phone starts ringing and you feel stressed. It's a lot about being overstimulated and really recharging in a quiet environment with fewer interruptions, honestly.
And I think also if you tend to be more of a creative person in that field, you tend to be more sensitive to that, to stimulation, right?
I think that's right. And that doesn't mean that you don't like people. I think this is another common misconception. And, people suffer for it at work, actually, and data support this, especially if you're in an office or if you're in a field, for example, like sales, where the norm is to be that classic extrovert, which unfortunately many of us in society still think that the person who talks the most has the most to say, or the person who, never wants to leave the bar at the office happy hour and, is always, present and ready to rally and always up for more. If we assume that person is more ambitious, more successful, it makes those of us who are more introverted or who aren't wired that way question our own ambition, and our bosses do too. We pay a price for it in workplaces that have got it all wrong.
Yeah, I mean, going back to myself in school, I tended to be more quiet than maybe some of the students, and sometimes occasionally you have a teacher would say, well, maybe you're not, are you not part of the class, you're not picking up on it, but being quiet doesn't mean you're not learning, so you have to kind of overcome that, I guess, people's tendency to think you're not quite paying attention if you're quiet.
100%, and it's funny now that you bring that up. I mean, sometimes people will think that I'm stuck up or I'm a snob or I don't want to be there,
right.
Because really I'm nervous and I don't know what to say, and I whether it's one of my kids' back to school nights or a cocktail party for work or some sort of gathering, we assume that someone who isn't fully engaged doesn't want to be there, or they're quiet, or there's something wrong with them. Often, for me, I have social anxiety too. I'm nervous. I feel like I'm sticking out. We're all maybe stuck in middle school.
Yeah. And, doing this, talking to you on radio or conversations is different than sometimes just being social situations where you're in a group, and I feel much more uncomfortable doing that. I don't feel comfortable at all actually doing that as opposed to this. So there's a difference.
Well, that's right, and I think that that's one of the key things that really keeps you going is when you tap into meaning, right? You tap into why you're there. For you, it's your radio show and it's your vocation. For me, I learned to overcome a fear of public speaking, meeting new people, even flying, frankly. I have terrible fear of flying, but in my business, I do have to fly to meet clients and to get out there. But when I am able to tap into why I do it, which at one level is so I can put 3 kids through college, and then the other level is because I love my work, it really helps me, and then I'm okay. And so I think part of it is really understanding the structure, the infrastructure you need to help yourself get out there when you have to. And then also when you can say no and hide in your home office, because that is wonderful too.
Let's talk a little bit about the book. I know we just have a couple of minutes left, but give kind of a capsule summary of what people can learn. I felt I got some good information about it, but give maybe 1 or 2 points people can get from the book.
Absolutely. In the book, I really focus on the areas that may seem counterintuitive strengths for introverts. So we talk about sales and building a great sales pipeline, really working with customers, building that word of mouth, for those of us who are in sales. We talked about negotiating, which, again, is not something that you might think introverts would be strong at. In a world of Shark Tank and all those reality TV shows of real estate agents, screaming at each other. Then we talk about social media. I mean, this is obviously a huge issue for everyone who's trying to build a career. I don't want to be on Instagram. I don't want to be on Twitter. How do I build an online brand? It makes me feel awkward. How do I do it? And that is something I get really, really nitty-gritty on, how to find your professional niche, how to find the platform that's right for you, how to get out there when you're not that social. Because, again, and you know this, if you can build a strong online professional brand, it makes working at home that much more successful because, your blog post or your Twitter feed or whatever is out there working for your podcast, working for you when you're at home in your home office.
I should have mentioned you also host a podcast yourself, so that has really changed the whole way we do broadcasting now. I think maybe half or more people listen to podcasts than maybe listen to over-the-air or satellite radio. So it's changing continuously.
And it's a very intimate medium, right? It's actually a great medium for introverts.
Yeah. And then, of course, our interviews we podcast as well, which keeps it out there. More people could get a chance later on to listen to it. So I think that's great. But anyway, the name of the book is Hiding in the Bathroom, an Introvert's Roadmap to Getting Out There When You'd Rather Stay Home. And we've been talking with Morra Aarons-Mele today. And give out a website, Morra. People can get more information about you in the book.
Absolutely. It's hidinginthebathroom.com. And you can also follow me on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn.
Great. More pleasure talking to you. Hopefully we can do it again, but thanks for being with us today.
Well, thank you so much. Have a great day.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America, isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.
If you'd like to order the book we're talking about, please go to DougMilesMedia.com and enter the author's name in the Amazon search box. Thank you for listening. Please come back soon for more conversations here at DougMilesMedia.com. This has been a presentation of Doug Miles Media, all rights reserved. You can listen to or download previous programs at iTunes, Stitcher.com, or DougMilesMedia.com.